It's Kaylin Goss from the KBIA Newsroom, and it's time for Missouri on Mic, conversations from Missouri in its 200th year. John Stanard spoke with the Missouri on Mic team at the Margaret Harwell Art Museum in Poplar Bluff this July. He shared some family history. Here's John.
I was born here almost 82 years ago, 1940. Earned a journalism degree from the Missouri School of Journalism. Went in the U.S. Army for 2 years. I worked on the Minneapolis Star as a copy editor for a year and returned to Poplar Bluff then, joining my family on our family-owned daily newspaper here, the Daily American Republic. The Daily American Republic is the successor, after many, many names, of the first newspaper in Butler County, Missouri, that started in the fall of 1869. It was called the Black River News. The first press was brought into this county at their request by ox cart. The man who did that was named John Bradley. He was the last Civil War veteran of this county. And in the Butler County Centennial of 1949, the Daily American Republic newspaper had a float in the Centennial Parade, and Mr. Bradley was 106 years old and rode on the float along with me. I was 9 years old, and I remember it well, and Mr. Bradley himself was very colorful. He enlisted in the Union Army as a teenager, was captured by the Confederates, and according to his story, he killed his guard and escaped and made it back to Poplar Bluff. No way for anyone to ever verify that, but nobody doubted him. He was a very upstanding citizen in later years. And so now I have to tell you about my family. My grandfather was John Wolpers, and he was a Spanish-American War veteran. He came home from the Philippines. He got interested in newspapers, and in 1914 he bought the Bonne Terre Citizen. By the late 50s, early 60s, the paper was successful, and even more successful through the 70s and early 80s. It supported 4 members of our family and their families. And then we saw indications of the future of newspapering, and we sold the property in 1988 to another family group. We did not, by design, we did not sell to a chain. At the time we sold the paper, we were publishing an average 22 pages a day, 6 days a week. It was a really nice publication. I stayed on as editor, and 2 years later the Woodwards decided to sell, and I lost my job, and about a fourth of the senior staff lost their jobs. And it was sold to Rust Communications at Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and the Rust company still owns the property today. When we sold the paper, our circulation was 15,500, and today it's about 5,000. So that's the story of newspapers in Butler County as I know it.
That was John Stanard at the Margaret Harwell Art Museum in Poplar Bluff, speaking about the newspaper history of his family. Missouri on Mic is an oral history and journalism project for Missouri's 200th year. Thanks to Rebecca Smith for producing this episode, and the Burney sisters for providing our music. For more conversations like these, visit kbia.org. I'm Kaylin Goss. Thanks for listening.